Well, the first thing, say I'm going to be a new closer on a team where Dave Valley is going to be the everyday catcher. The first thing I'm going to do when I get to spring training is I'm going to tell Dave, okay, this is what I like to do and how I like to go about it. What I'm also going to do is say I'm going to work on the pitches. I worked in the offseason this year, Dave, on throwing a strike. So that's one of the big things I'm going to work on.
That's a good thing to work on.
When I get to a bullpen session, all I want out of my catcher is to sit in the middle, and I'm going to get my work in. I'm going to throw fastballs, I'm going to throw sliders, and I'm probably going to mix in some splits. When you meet with a pitcher for the first time, how did you go about it?
Well, anytime you having a new addition to your pitching staff, for me as a catcher, I went into spring training, I wanted to make sure I caught all of his bullpens. You know, you've got the young kids down there who can catch guys that you're familiar with, but I want to get very comfortable with my new pitchers. I want them to get comfortable with me behind the plate. I want to find out, Mitch, where do you want me to set up? And I know you and I were talking, you like for the catcher just to set up right down the middle.
Set in the middle.
But I had guys like a Billy Swift, for instance, who had that big, heavy sinker, and I had to learn from him that I had to sit on the outside part of the plate, because if I set up in the middle like I did for you, everything would be a ball because he had so much movement. So those are the little nuances and the little things that you need to get comfortable with the new pitcher and me as a catcher.
Jump back behind the plate, and I'll show you. This would be typically what I would do. And the reason I always told my catcher set up in the middle is because I want that umpire to have a blind spot to the outside corner. The outside corner or the inside corner. If I'm going to work on throwing fastballs away, first thing I'm going to do is work on the mechanical part of my delivery, making sure I get my knee up and back, my hands are up, and when my knee gets up, then I'm going to break my hands and come through. Oh! Dave's going to miss it, and the runner on third scores, which I'm not worried about because that was a starting pitcher's run.
And you got to remember, spring training, I just got a brand new glove. I got to break it in.
Well, that was what I was good for in spring training, was breaking in guys' gloves. So, see, he's sitting down the middle. I'm going to say, okay, I want the fastball away. But he's sitting in the middle knowing I'm going to throw the ball away. Here, I'm going to get here, and it's going to be away. Now I'm going to throw a slider. It's going to be down into a right-hander. I'm there. It's hung, it's hit out of the ballpark. Then I'm going to go to my split. I'm going to show him the split. Same mechanics, do here, get separated. Woo, throw that. That is what a bullpen session is all about. And if Dave has any questions, he's going to ask me, when do I want to throw which pitch at what time?
Well, that comes into spring training games when you start to get into those crunch times. I want to know what's your go-to pitch when you're in trouble. You may not have your best stuff. What's the pitch that you feel most comfortable with? I know with you it's going to be your fastball.
Right.
Now, at any point in time, if you're missing to the outside part of the plate, do you want me to move a little bit more in so that you're going to finish off your pitches on the inside part?
No, see, that was nothing. If I was missing and it was away to a right-hander, I knew I had to correct that with my lower half. I needed to stay back a tick longer to make sure I could get on top of the ball and drive the ball downhill. Now, the backdoor slider, that's why I like the catcher to set up in the middle, because towards the end of my career, I didn't have the velocity that I did at the beginning of my career, so I used a backdoor slider. With the catcher setting up down the middle, and he can catch that ball without moving and catch that backdoor, and the umpire's blind to it,
right.
A lot of times you get that call.
You know, I think back on some of the new additions that I had. Randy Johnson, when he first came over to Seattle, I had to stay on the inside part of the plate because he was wild up and in to a left-hander. So by staying on the inside part of the plate, it made him really think about finishing off his pitches. He had the fastball and the slider, so everything was hard. And he'd miss, but he'd miss out on the outside part of the plate and still get the strike.
Well, and that's what it's all about. You got to get to know your catcher. The catcher's got to get to know you. Back to you over at Studio 3, Matty.
All right, real quick. I need an honest answer. You guys winded?
I'm tired.
And, you know, Brian Schneider just retired. I'm retiring now. This is why I retired, so I didn't have to catch any more bullpens.